boy.
Truth. DF Dub.
Y'all know what it is.
CFP. I don't know what you grew up on. I grew up on Dre. Bitch, I grew up on Dre. Check me out, Bitch, I grew up on Dre. I grew up on Snoop. I grew up on Short Dog and Ice Cube. I grew up on 40. I grew up on Pac. I grew up in Dallas, Texas, so I grew up on the dock. I grew up with Doggy Style on cassette and the lack. Back when they still
what?
So crack. I grew up on Friday. I grew up on Juice. I grew up on OG Bobby Johnson chugging up the deuce. I grew up on Menace and Boys in the Hood. I grew up on Vanilla Ice, signed this shit over the Suge. I grew up on Easy. I grew up on Quick. I grew up on Nate Dogg and all that Dog Pound shit. I grew up way back in radio, played hits for this mumble rap trash and motherfuckers really spit. I grew up on the Chronic way back in the day when eating booty and wearing skinny jeans was still gay. Bitch, I grew up on Dre. Bitch, I grew up on Dre. I grew up on Dre. I grew up on Dre. But I grew up on some East Coast shit too though. Check it. Yeah, I grew up on Wu-Tang, Nas and Mobb Deep. I grew up on KRS, Rakim and Eric B. I grew up on Slick Rick, Dougie Fresh and DMX. I grew up on Mace, Cameron and Dipset. I grew up on Ghost and ODB. I grew up on fucking Jada, Sheik, Lucha, Styles P. I grew up on Busta. I grew up on Big. I grew up on real hip hop. You never did. I grew up on Redman and EPMD. I grew up on Big Daddy Kane and Biz Marquee. I grew up on New Jack and the King of New York, rocking Tim's unlaced with the tongues out in shorts. I grew up way back when they battle off for the dome, for they gave your ass a month to write your own shit at home. I grew up banging 50 before he linked up with Dre. Let me get a song with Doc. I do that shit for no pay, cause I grew up on Dre.
Do that shit for free.
Bitch, I grew up on Dre.
Grew up on Dre.
Yeah, I grew up on Dre. First verse is about that West Coast shit I grew up on. I grew up on Dre. The second about the East, but I'm from the South, so you know where this shit finna go. Matter of fact, run that motherfucking beat back. Let's get it. Bitch, I grew up on Row. I grew up on Face. I grew up on Outkast and UGK. Bitch, I grew up saying, like Master P. I grew up on Big Mike, 8 Ball and MJG. I grew up on BG and Young Bleed. How you do that on repeat? Solar Barracks in the Jeep. Used to pull up to the club before I was old enough to get in. Jamie Devin, see what I can pull. The parking lot pimp. I grew up on Phillies. I grew up on Swishers back when they only had 2 flavors, chocolate and regular. I grew up on 3-6 and Project Pat and Pastor Troy. If I was about to go scrap, I grew up way back in the Gap. When trap wasn't no type of music, it's where you bought crack. I grew up on Big Mo, Lil Flip and Kiki, Big Pokey, 50-50, Slim Thug and ESG. Grew up on Pook and Luch, DSR and Badu. It all started in the lag when my brother played Snoop. What's my motherfucking name? Oh, by the way, just in case you ain't know, that's produced by Dre. Bitch, I grew up on Dre. Bitch, I grew up on Dre. 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 Bitch, I grew up on Dre.